Willow Creek, Montana, was a quiet and peaceful town in the United States. The residents lived simple lives, holding on to their traditional values. The town was surrounded by dense pine forests and rolling hills, often shrouded in thick fog during the mornings and nights. This was where Amelia Carter lived, a 23-year-old woman who had just lost her father a month ago. Her mother had passed away when Amelia was only 8 years old. Now she was left with only her grandmother, Margaret Carter, the last remaining member of her family. Amelia was a beautiful young woman with wavy brown hair and striking green eyes. Beyond her appearance, she was known for her kindness, politeness, and warm personality. But beneath her gentle smile, her life was anything but easy. After graduating high school, Amelia took a job as an administrative assistant at the local government office in Willow Creek. She worked tirelessly to support herself and her grandmother. Many men in town sought her hand in marriage, but she always declined for reasons unknown. The only man who had ever truly captured her heart was Ethan Walker, a young man she had known since high school. They had been secretly dating, despite their family's strong disapproval. Their families had been enemies for decades. Years ago, Amelia's grandfather and Ethan's grandfather had been rivals in the town's mayoral election. When Amelia's grandfather won, Ethan's grandfather accused him of cheating and vowed that their families would never associate with one another again. Despite the family feud, Amelia and Ethan continued their secret romance until everything fell apart. In late 1974, Ethan married a woman chosen by his father. Amelia had known about the arranged marriage, but Ethan had promised her that he would find a way to be with her no matter what. That promise, however, turned out to be a lie. After Ethan's wedding, Amelia shut herself away. She quit her job and was never seen in town again. Then, in mid-1975, Willow Creek was rocked by horrifying news. Amelia was found dead in her bedroom, hanging from the ceiling. Her body was bloated, covered in decay, and, most disturbingly, her stomach was swollen as if she had been heavily pregnant. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said she had taken her own life out of grief, while others whispered that she had been murdered because she was carrying an illegitimate child. After her burial, strange things began happening in Willow Creek. 3 days after the funeral, terrified residents reported seeing a ghostly figure wrapped in a burial shroud, hopping through the empty streets at night. Others swore they heard the cries of a baby echoing from the abandoned Carter house. One of the first to witness the horror was David Thompson. One night, David woke up around midnight with a stomachache. Since his house didn't have an indoor bathroom, he had to walk several meters to the public outhouse. With a flashlight in hand, he hurried through the cold night. When he arrived, he saw Mr. Harris, one of his neighbors, standing near the outhouse door. "Mr. Harris, aren't you afraid to be out here this late?" David asked in trying to make conversation. "Afraid of what?" Mr. Harris responded flatly. "Amelia, of course." David chuckled nervously. Before he could finish speaking, Mr. Harris vanished into thin air. Shocked, David turned toward the outhouse, but no one was there. Panic set in, and he sprinted back home. As he neared his neighbor's house, his blood ran cold. A pale, shrouded figure stood at the front door, repeatedly slamming its head against the wooden surface. The sound of bone-striking wood echoed through the night. David rushed into his house and lit every oil lamp he had, his hands shaking. But the sound of pounding continued, growing louder and moving toward his own front door. And then, amidst the relentless banging, came the sound of a low, guttural growl. Meanwhile, Ethan Walker's life was unraveling. His marriage had collapsed within a month. He became violent toward his wife and soon descended into madness. His family sought help from doctors and spiritual healers, but nothing worked. Eventually, they gave up. Each night, Ethan would wander the town, screaming Amelia's name. By the end of 1975, his insanity had worsened. Ashamed of his condition, his family confined him to a locked room, restraining him to prevent further outbursts. Ethan lived the rest of his days in torment. In 2004, at the age of 64, he was found dead. He had hanged himself, just like Amelia. To this day, the legend of Amelia Carter lingers in Willow Creek. Many believe her spirit still roams the town, seeking justice for the life she lost. Some claim to have seen a woman in a faded floral dress, cradling a baby, wandering the edge of the forest at night. And sometimes in the dead of night, there comes a soft knocking on doors, as if someone is asking to be let in. Would you dare open the door?